Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I want to welcome everybody to the Live in Hope, Focus on Healing broadcast, part of the MS&Me Radio Network. My name is Kelly Alderton. I'm a wife, mom, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and author. My book, Waking Up from MS, My Journey to Health, Healing, and Living Symptom-Free, details my almost 30-year journey living with and beating MS naturally. And you can check that out on Amazon anytime. You can also check out MSMEairtime.pro for all of these recordings. My broadcast is every Sunday. Within 24 hours of the broadcast, that will be up on YouTube for you to really take your time and go through them. I highly recommend checking out MSMEairtime.pro for many different MS stories. People that have been living with MS just for a few months to a few years to a few decades. So please check that out, and you can really start to see all of us locking arms together trying to get this information out to you. I'm really excited for my next guest today on the broadcast, and I've been wanting to interview this particular person for such a long time, and my guest is my husband, Greg Alderton. Greg, welcome to the broadcast.
Hello, glad to be here.
Well, Greg, I know we were joking and how we should do this call and where we wanted this to go, but I bet the biggest point we wanted to convey to everybody is that it's so important to have supportive relationships around you on this journey with MS, whether boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whatever it is, you know, that partner who's supporting you. It's so important to have someone who will be there with you through thick or thin. In fact, having that confidant by your side, having that person who's going to be with you through all of it can really make or break you. And I say that really to make the point that it is so important to have that person behind you supporting you, because as we know, MS is hard enough. If you don't have someone there who's got your back, who's supporting you, who's going to be there with you through everything, it makes it even more difficult on you. So I just want to have my husband on here today, my best friend, Greg, and talk a little bit. When Greg met me, I was actually diagnosed with MS in 1988. I was 17 years old. I did not meet Greg until much later on in life, and he moved out here in 1999, and I said out here, and that means he actually relocated down here to Chicago to live with me in 1999, and everything was going really well, and he was working, and, you know, MS was taking a toll on me at that time, and Greg, I'm not even sure if you knew it at that time, all the chronic fatigue I had and the aches and pains. I don't really know if did I talk about it at all?
Not really.
Not really?
We never really got into any of your MS symptoms or anything.
At that time, right. And that's interesting. So I kind of kept that to myself, what I was going through, but there was no hiding one particular exacerbation I had in October or November of 1999. Not sure if it had any correlation with you moving here, Greg, but no, I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm just kidding. But a few months after Greg had moved here, I started not being able to walk, and my foot was slipping right out from under me. And as many of you with MS know, that's the chronic symptom we get, or the flare-up of drop foot. So I actually went to the doctor, and they hospitalized me at University of Chicago. And I was terrified, and I can say that because Greg was out working. My dad took me and dropped me off at the hospital, and I was terrified, thinking that there is no way this guy is not going to pack right up and move back to his home. And so I was really scared. And, you know, for some of you, you might be in that same boat thinking, oh my gosh, is my boyfriend going to support me? Is my significant other, is my girlfriend going to support me? You know, we're not married. There's no ties binding us. And so I was really stressed out in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 5 days. And Greg, you were there every single night with me after work. You stayed with me until they kicked you out.
Yes, I did.
And let me ask you this. So here, this is, I don't even know if you knew what MS was at that time. Did you know what MS was?
No idea.
No clue.
I had no clue on anything about MS.
Okay, like most people, unless you are presented with MS or know of someone with MS, it's just something very obscure. We don't know anything about. It's oblivious to us. So, what did you think, Greg? So, a few months you're here living in Chicago, and boom, I'm in the hospital. I can't walk, and I'm there for 5 days. What were you thinking at that time?
I really didn't have much thought upon this. It was just different to me. I knew you said you had this disease, and I had no idea what it was, and I didn't Google it, and we didn't Google much back then. So I knew you had all the information for me. So when I visited you, I just listened to what your doctors were telling you, and started learning from there. And then we talked to your doctors a few times, and it was really weird, and that's where I got my first taste of scare tactics by doctors. Because I remember the one incident your doctor asked me if, oh, you're dating Kelly, and I was like, well, yes, I am. I sort of took a step back, and he says, yeah, well, do you know how are you going to feel when she's in a wheelchair? Are you going to be able to help her out and stick around and stuff like that? And at this time, we're just dating, and I'm thinking, what the heck is this doctor saying this stuff for?
I forgot that he was like threatening you that I was going to be in a wheelchair.
Right.
I forgot about that. And that is, interestingly enough, and for my fellow MSers who are listening, that is a scare tactic that we get very often from doctors when they're trying to get us on the disease-modifying therapies. And I've had many of my closest friends say that their doctor said, if you walk out of here without a DMD, you're going to be in a wheelchair. So it's interesting that here Greg is just dating me. I'm in the hospital, and the doctor's already saying, what are you going to do when she ends up in a wheelchair? Did that terrify you?
No.
It didn't scare you?
I knew you, and I knew there was nothing that was going to stop us from dating. And it was no big deal to me. And if something was going to happen like that, of course I would be there for you.
That's you're a good guy. So that's good. I was lucky to have Greg here. And so that's interesting that he wasn't going to leave, and the doctor even tried to warn him. And that really helped me, especially I went through those 5 days of the steroids, and then, you leave and they put you on a long dosage of steroids. And the doctor also said I needed to decide what disease-modifying therapy I was going to go on at that point. And I was freaked out because they were all given by shots at that time. And I said, oh my gosh, there's no way I could do that. And Greg and I really didn't talk about it because I just said, I can't do that. But I was going to weigh all the options. They gave us a bunch of brochures to look at. And interestingly enough, my twin sister, and I've talked about my twin sister, Kim, on many of my other calls, she also was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS back in 1988, so a year after me. They also told her to decide what DMD she wanted to go to right about the same time in 1999, and she jumped right on all the DMDs. She went through all the ABC DMDs, and the interesting part about it was her husband at the time was a fireman, and he worked another full-time job, so he wasn't always there to give Kim the shots of the different ABC drugs. And so, Greg, that's when you started actually giving Kim the injections, right? Because she couldn't do it herself.
Right.
And you got to see firsthand about, the kind of problems she had with it. What did you think about the shots when you started giving them to her? And then finally, what did you start to think when you saw the side effects to that and how it related to me?
Well, when she asked me to come over there and give her the shots, at first I was like, what? Needles?
Right.
Shots? I don't know anything about that.
Right, especially she's not even related to you at the time.
So I actually said, all right, I'll do it. I went over there, and I gave her a shot every night, or once a week. It was back in '99, so I'm trying to remember the exact timeline.
Yeah.
But She was fairly normal at that time. You know, she wasn't showing any signs of MS fatigue or nothing too horrible that I would have noticed. And after, I'd say, a few months of her being on it, she just deteriorated. She just went downhill fast, and it was really weird to me.
And
I
know
thought this drug was supposed to help her, and I knew nothing about MS at the time.
Right.
So to me, it was just, I was taken back by it, that the drugs were doing the wrong thing to her, not the right thing.
And I know then you were fearful for me because
Exactly.
you said, no way can you go on that. But here we are in 1999, beginning of 2000, we'll say, and not wanting to do the DMDs because we literally saw my sister deteriorating rapidly. And of course, what happens when you don't have a good reaction off of one drug, then they put you on another drug, and then they put you on another drug, and then they put you on another drug. And it was just crazy to see what happened. And Kim, we joke about it with my sister because we said she was almost my guinea pig, because here I could watch every drug that I was investigating. She went on it and was having these horrible, horrible side effects. And so that was something that I knew, okay, I can't do this, but I didn't know what to do at that time because we didn't have search capabilities like we do online, you know, Google and WebMD and PubMed and ways we can investigate all these DMDs or alternative therapies. We really didn't have that at our fingertips at that time like we do now. But luckily, and I think it's a God thing, my sister-in-law brought a business opportunity to us in 2001, and I was panicking because at that time I wanted to be able to, you know, make some money for the family, but I couldn't leave. I had so much fatigue. I had so many aches and pains. I had brain fog, that chronic brain fog, and I know everyone here knows what I'm talking about with that. And I said, I have to figure out something. So my sister-in-law brought this business opportunity to me and my husband, Greg, and we just jumped in. And it was great because I could work from home. Didn't matter if I had brain fog. It didn't matter if I had that chronic fatigue. I could still nap. I was napping at that time 2 to 3 times a day. But what happened in this company that Greg and I got involved in was that we were really exposed to people who knew about healthy living, healthy thinking, how to be healthy. It's like something I've never experienced in my life. And when we got involved in that company, it really changed everything. So we started to look at ways that I could start to heal naturally. But I want to backtrack a little bit, Greg, because, you know, you were supporting me through everything. And then in, 2000, we got married and we really never looked back. But what can you say to other people out there, boyfriends, girlfriends, significant others, husbands or wives, who are there and have the person they love with all their heart going through the MS diagnosis, going through the ups and downs, this roller coaster with MS? What can you tell them? Because we know when you see someone suffering, when you see your loved one suffering, you want the best for them, and I know you said you'd always support me and everything, but what can you say to them so, to really give them hope or help them look at it the right way?
Well, I would have to start out by saying when we first started dating and then got married in 2000, I didn't have the fear factor, but I know there's examples of people that I have spoken to that gave me bad examples of themselves and how their support groups were for their wives or girlfriends. And it struck me odd that people wouldn't follow their significant other or girlfriend and help them on their journey in a positive way and not a negative way. Like when we started your journey, I would say you started your journey on healthy healing, which was phenomenal to me because I just watched you just basically eliminate all of your fatigue and everything.
Yeah, all my symptoms, yeah.
And your symptoms are going away, and it was a short journey. I mean, how can I say this? It's a long road, but it was really a lot shorter distance than we thought it was. Mm-hmm. And you just stuck with your healthy habits, and I just watched, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. it's like she doesn't have MS anymore. It's so everything just went perfect, and everything has since early 2000s. So it's been a great journey. And if I was dating somebody now, and now with everything I know, and I would just say, hey, follow them on a healthy journey and back them up. Just stay true to their health and help them out. Don't stress them out. Stress is a bad factor for MS people.
It is.
If you're stressed and you're not believing in what you're doing and trying to become healthy, it's a hard journey. So just stick to the basics.
Absolutely, and that is the point. Yeah, you were always there for me no matter what I wanted to try or do, and you were always there to support me, and just like you would have supported me with the drugs if I went that route as well. And that is a great point. It's just nothing is changing with that person. And I know a lot of people get scared, like the doctor tried to scare you. Oh, she's going to end up in a wheelchair. Well, we know that is not the standard. Everybody does not end up in a wheelchair. MS is not a death sentence, no matter what people are trying to scare you into. And so I would really say, look to ways that you can heal and work with your partner, because everybody on this journey, we have our ups and downs. We have to research. We have to look at ways to heal, the ways that are out there. There are plenty of ways to heal naturally, but not everyone is going to tell you about those ways. So I really say, lock arms with your partner, your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, and support them, and just know that there may be some bumps in the road on the journey to healing, but that person can find ways to live a healthy lifestyle. I'm living proof of it. I know hundreds of MSers who are living happy, healthy, symptom-free. And so just think about that and really, honor the person that you're with. And it doesn't have to be so bad. In fact, if you are the significant other, start doing your own investigating online. There are so many resources. Now, for my MS family out there that you're listening to this now, and maybe this is the first time you're hearing my broadcast, but know that there are ways for you to heal. I am not something special. I'm not an anomaly. I just focus on ways to heal the body, because our body was made to heal if we give it the tools to do so. And I look at the MS diagnosis as the end result of something off in our body. MS is not the starting point. It's the end result of, an imbalance in the body, inflammation in the body. So what we have to do is start to look at the root cause of this disease and start focus on healing, healthy diet, supplements, exercise, alternative therapies like Atlas Orthogonal, chiropractic care, acupuncture, massage, meditation, and really changing the way you start to think about things. Those are ways that you can start to heal. In fact, your significant other can help you on that journey as well. I mean, Greg and I have done, couples massage together, and, he's always investigating ways for us to heal or new things to try. So really focus on that. And Greg did make a point. If you're not supporting your significant other or your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're not supporting them and stressing them out, stress is a huge factor in this process as far as giving you an exacerbation. We know that stress can cause enough inflammation, put your body in the fight or flight mode, which of course is not meant, our body is not meant to stay in that fight or flight mode for any length of time. And if it does, you will suffer the repercussions. And let's face it, even your partner will suffer those repercussions if you guys are stressing each other out. So really focus on your relationships here. And I know a lot of people on this journey, even the ones who are going the healthy route, maybe supplementing, or they're going raw or vegan or vegetarian and exercising, they're doing all these things, but they're still having some traumas, they're still having some flare-ups, exacerbations, and so their MS is really unstable. And what I know from studying personal growth and development for, the last decade, actually almost 15 years now, is that if you have unhealthy relationships around you, it will come out in your body. And that is what we see over and over again with MS people. When we start to talk with them, when I start to talk with them, because I talk with thousands of MS sufferers, and it's that one thing they say, there's just one thing off. There's just something that I just can't get this totally under control. And we start to look at their relationships, whether it's with a parent or a friend or a sibling or a spouse or a significant other. When you have problems in those relationships, it will come out in your health. So that's why I really wanted to have Greg on here. And Greg's a pretty shy guy. And Greg, I'm really glad you were here because you are my biggest supporter. And I knew that no matter what I went through, you were always there for me. And when you have that kind of comfort and safety that you can feel no matter what's going to happen. I mean, because we didn't know we were going to be on this journey in 1999, that I would have been living symptom-free now all these years. But I knew, and I've told you this before, that that's a God thing, putting us together, and you've helped me so much on this journey that, I mean, I can never say I'm, what can I say? I just love you to pieces, and you're the best thing that happened to me. And that's what I'm saying too. He's blushing now. But really, be that person for your spouse. Be that person for their boyfriend or girlfriend. And you can, like I said, MS is not a death sentence. It's not. Start thinking about it in a different light and really work together to support that person who you know and love who has MS, because you know what? It can be a make or break situation. And we don't like to say that, right? Like, oh, because that relationship. But when we look at the relationships, and most of the time our most important relationships are with our spouse or significant other or boyfriend or girlfriend, right? So of course it's going to impact your health. So I just wanted to take this time and talk about that a little bit and just say, focus on a healthy relationship. Focus on surrounding yourself with healthy friendships even. That's another big part of this journey with MS is, know that the people around you will support you. I know my best friends will support me in any way if I ever got sick or anything I ever needed. You need to know that about your relationships around you as well. So I just want to thank everybody for listening to the broadcast today. And you can connect with me, Kelly Alderton, on Facebook. You can also check out Waking Up from MS on Facebook as well. I will respond to you. I would like to hear a little bit more about you and your own journey with MS. Again, you can check out my book, Waking Up from MS, My Journey to Health, Healing, and Living Symptom-Free on Amazon. And I hope you'll check that out. And I hope it can really be a tool for you on your own journey living with MS. Greg, thank you so much. I know I know you're a shy guy, but thanks. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody can glean something from this call today.
Oh, absolutely. You're welcome. I'm glad to be here, and I just wanted to tell the people out there that are listening, don't worry about the journey at first, because it might be a tough road for you. Maybe you've been on drugs for the DMDs, and you've lived an unhealthy lifestyle. You're going to have to purge your body. It's going to detox. It might seem worse at first, but oh my God, will it get so much better. Just stick through it, get tough, and toughen up, and get healthy.
Thank you, Greg. I love it. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and God bless.